What's going on, everyone, and welcome to Movie Emporium's movie review of The Mauritanian, the newest film from director Kevin Macdonald. Now, before we begin, if you like this channel, awesome, hit the subscribe button to join Movie Emporium, hit that notification bell at the top to find what's coming next. If you like this video, awesome, hit that like button, as well as commenting below on any video that you watch, including this one. So based on a true story, The Mauritanian is about an individual named Mamadou Alou Salahi, who's played by Tahar, who actually got a Golden Globe nomination. And Mamadou was an individual who, through his diaries, through his memoirs, which were called the Guantanamo Bay Diaries, he basically chronicled everything that had happened to him from the point when he was arrested and basically hidden away for 3 years, and then ends up being tortured and basically is made to confess the things he didn't do. And in the process, we start to learn about, basically through his 14 years imprisonment, about what exactly happened to him and how he was trying to get free of the things he didn't, was trying to convince the people that he didn't do, but was basically being charged of being a conspirator in the 9/11, Twin Towers incident. Because at the time that this movie takes place, which is like 2001 to 2006, they were basically in full force trying to figure out who was involved, how the people were involved, and it got to a point where Guantanamo Bay became famous for the kind of disastrous torture efforts that they were putting on people to get like fake confessions to kind of clear headway to attack Afghanistan. It was a pretty messed up situation, and if you have not watched the news about it, it's really disturbing to hear about. But in the process of the story, we meet characters named Nancy Hollander and Terry, who of course are played by Jodie Foster and Shailene Woodley. They're two individuals that just kind of come across the case because it could be an interesting way to learn about Gitmo and stuff like that, which is Guantanamo Bay. And so as the story plays along, as this gentleman Mamadou starts writing down his story, as he becomes friendly, we start to learn more and more about how insane his 5 to 6 years at this point really was during his kind of incarceration for something he claims he didn't do. And then on the other side, we have a character named Stu Coach, who is a military, basically a prosecutor, who is actually played by Benedict Cumberbatch. And he's an individual that believes in the truth. His friend died at 9/11, and he is basically going to try and convict and get this guy on death row for the crimes that he thinks this guy commits. And as the movie plays along, the things he believes, the Benedict Cumberbatch character believes, the more and more it becomes a realization of what actually happened, and his beliefs and his religion start to play an effect, and so on and so forth. So it's basically a big conspiratorial like thriller type movie. It's about people hiding the truth, and it's in essence a movie where an individual got prosecuted for doing something he literally did not do. And if you don't know the whole story, that's basically the whole story. He didn't do what they claimed he did. So with that said, after watching this movie, this is a movie that's a very fascinating one to me, because Kevin Macdonald did a movie called The Last King of Scotland or something like that. And it was a movie that had, of course, Forest Whitaker, who won an Oscar. And it was basically about the kind of corruption and the dangerous situations and, of this general or whatever. So watching a Kevin Macdonald film, it's never going to be an easy task to watch, because he's always going to lay it out on the table. He's always going to be brutal in his kind of revelations and what he's explaining, and he's going to take any individual in any situation and be truthfully and honest about it. So it's one of these movies that's getting a lot of buzz, especially for Tahir's performance, because he's portraying a guy who went through so much angst and so much torture and just so many problems that to take on a role like that, you have to be really committed to the performance. And then you have Jodie Foster, who of course has always been a great actress. She's always done great work. And of course you have Shailene Woodley and Benedict Cumberbatch and a bunch of other famous actors in this movie. So it's a movie that has a lot of star power, a lot of buzz behind it. And it's a movie that when I first saw the trailer for it, I wasn't really sure what I was going to get myself into, because these types of movies could be hit or miss. They could be really engrossing, they could be really terrible in its like structure. And I've been hearing a lot of good things about it. A lot of people who saw this movie early really enjoyed it. They really like the performances. But after watching this movie and kind of letting it settle in and kind of letting you think about it, what's going on, this movie is brutal. It's honest. It's dark. It's disturbing. It makes you feel dirty to be an American sometimes. But it's a movie about hope, a movie about what is right, and it's a movie about injustice getting served And it's a very powerful thing to watch. It's an incredible piece of work when it comes to filmmaking. As Kevin Macdonald's, kind of moved along as being a director, his like directorial abilities have gotten better, stronger. His side characters are much more stronger than they were, let's say, in The Last King of Scotland, stuff like that. And this is one of the better performances Jodie Foster's given in quite a while. Actually, it's a pretty it's a performance that takes a lot out of you, because you have to do some stuff you don't really want to do, and you have to kind of emote a lot of feelings that can really eat at you alive. And if you even know half as much about the story, it's a very, very uncomfortable idea to be the individual who is being yelled at and screamed at for basically defending somebody who claims they're innocent, but is being convicted of the possibility of being one of the conspirators in the 9/11 incident with the Twin Towers. And then you have like Shailene Woodley, who plays her assistant, is very innocent in her portrayal, but as she starts to come along and she starts to realize what's happening, it's very devastating to watch a young woman have to go through all this. And then we have Benedict Cumberbatch, who's doing Benedict Cumberbatch, who's always good in everything he does, and he has Zachary Levi, who he plays off of, which is a lot of fun, because Zachary Levi doesn't do these types of movies, so that's always a lot of fun. But the revelations that start happening, that kind of test who the Stu Coach character is, really kind of it gives a lot of weight to Benedict Cumberbatch's performance. So he's pretty good in the movie. But in all honesty, as it's been pretty much shown through everybody who's watched this movie, Tahar Rahim's performance is absolutely amazing. It's devastating to watch. It's a performance that I'm pretty sure Tahar Rahim had a lot of nightmares as he was performing. The things he has to be put through, the things he has to portray, the angst and the sadness and the horrifying nature of his torture, and just how he is treated. And to have to portray somebody like Mamadou, who went through so much stuff in his 14 years in imprisonment, and just to kind of see everything in his soul get sucked out of him as he's been tortured and stuff like that. It takes a lot of strength and effort to have to portray someone in that situation. And I wouldn't be surprised if Tahar Rahim gets an Oscar nomination for Best Actor in this movie, because it's an incredibly nuanced performance. It's a performance that just it starts out simple, as a normal. Jodie Foster is the big actress, but as he kind of moves along in the story, the revelations and the answers start happening, as Jodie Foster's character starts reading his story, and we start to see everything happen, the performance gets more and more and more just striking you square in the chest, and just how incredible it becomes. And it's a knockout performance. It's a star-making performance from an individual I don't know anything about. I don't know anything about Tahar Rahim, but he gives an incredible performance in this movie. But it's going to be an interesting thing to see when Oscar time comes around, if they actually give him an Oscar nomination, which I think would be a deserved nomination, because it's such an incredible performance. So I can't say enough good things about what he does in this movie, but you have to see it for yourself to kind of believe what he has to go through in this movie. So, but with that said, this movie, The Mauritanian, is a movie that is not going to be easy for a lot of people to watch. It's a movie that you have to be, in all honesty, prepared, because it will strike you pretty hard in the chest on what it's trying to say. Like I said, Kevin Macdonald holds nothing back, so what you see is probably what actually happened. And to watch how corrupted and disturbed and dark the military got, especially at Guantanamo Bay, is something just you'll never forget about it. So it's a pretty powerful movie, and it's led by some great performances. So, but that's it. That's gonna be my take on The Mauritanian. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you know anything about this incident with Mamadou Al-Salahi. If it's something you know about or read his book, because I heard it was pretty popular. But anyways, if you like what you see on my channel, hit the subscribe button to join Movie Emporium. Hit that notification bell at the top to find what's coming next. If you like the video, awesome. Hit that like button, and we'll see you guys on the next video. Peace out.